Bonsoir. Ce soir, nous avons avec nous Jerry Abrams, qui est un artiste qui nous présente l'art de jouer avec les lumières. Good night. Tonight we have with us Jerry Abrams, who is an artist and a real artist, and he is a specialist. I mean, not a specialist. I would say he's an artist in the art of doing light shows. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Hi.
Hi.
So, Jerry, I know I'm interviewing tonight because I saw your light show, and I read the article they wrote about you in the Image magazine, and maybe you can tell us a little bit more of what is written. And I'd like, first of all, to tell us how did you get interested in a light show? And
I became interested in light shows way back in 1965, I believe.
Because you were part of a band, or?
Well, actually, I was part of a band. I'm a musician also. I play conga drums and bongos. And my lady friend and I went to a concert called America Needs Indians at the Longshoremen's Hall in San Francisco. And it was a multimedia affair, mostly slides of Indians and Indian type things and all kinds of different music. And I was in a band called the Skins, which was a bunch of drummers. And so we did a lot of drumming, and I saw all this lights around me, and I had been a filmmaker prior to that. I had just been messing around with 8mm film. No, videos weren't even around in those days.
Oh, yeah.
This is ancient history we're talking about.
Okay, no, we're talking in the 60s. Okay.
Right, right. I was a student at the time at the University of California in Berkeley and, in philosophy. And I saw this. I'd always been interested in film. And when I saw this multimedia presentation, I said, I've got to be doing this.
And you got hands-on?
Well, we then started going to the Fillmore Auditorium.
In the Fillmore?
In the Fillmore Auditorium, yeah.
Okay.
The old Fillmore, the original Fillmore on Fillmore and Gary. And we started to go up. There were people doing light shows already at that time. And I had been doing film, so I used to take my films.
Is it something that started in New York or in California?
I'm not sure. I think it started in San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do. And then it migrated east. Most things do start on the West Coast and go east.
Because there's more artists.
Well, this seems to be the essence or the hub of artistic creativity in the world, I think, one of them. And a lot of things originate here in San Francisco and Berkeley and basically on the West Coast, and then sort of migrate back east.
And forth.
Right.
Okay.
Anyway, I would show my films along with the light show that was already going on at the Fillmore, and my lady friend, who became my partner, started making slides, hand-painted glass slides, and then we met another fellow at the Fillmore named, his name was Glenn McKay, and the three of us looked at each other one night. We ended up doing another person's light show one night, and we said,
let's do it.
Let's do it, and we started our own show called Headlights.
Okay.
And that was somewhere in 1965.
And you started calling bars and offering to do it for them?
No, it wasn't in bars then. Basically, we did shows in concerts, and the Avalon, the Fillmore Auditorium, the Family Dog on the Great Highway, California Hall. These are places around San Francisco.
And
a lot of them in Berkeley.
You would call the concert hall and offer to do it?
Yeah, or they would call us, because once we got rolling, Headlights became one of the major light shows in the world.
Really?
Yeah. So we were in demand.
And how long did that last for you?
Well, my light show career in the 60s went from around 65 to 70.
And how many?
4.5 years.
4.5 years. And how many people at that time did it take to do a light show?
When we did a major show at a big dance hall like the Fillmore or the Avalon, we usually did a show that entailed
3 or 4 people?
3 or 4 people, but I'm trying to think of how many projectors. Sometimes 18 or 19 or
Different
20 projectors at once. We used movie projectors, 16mm film, slide projectors, 35mm slide projectors.
So you used to have like a big...
Overheads.
Oh.
Overhead projectors.
No, I mean you used to have then a big room.
A big array, yes. they would
And
all...
what do you use when you do your slideshow at that time?
The slideshow or the light show?
The light show. What do you use?
Well, as I say, we use films and slides and overhead material. An overhead projector is one that takes an image, either translucent, transparent, or a profile type of an image, and it projects it toward the screen. And we also do on that projector oils and colors, known as liquids.
Oh, the liquids.
And so what we do is we do a multimedia. It's a different forms of media, and we combine them, and we do things like animation and all kinds of different effects.
And do you find that what you do today is the same thing?
Basically the same.
Basically, except you have added a couple things to it?
Well, we sometimes use video in our light shows. We employ video projectors and do some special effects through video.
And how come it takes less people to do it nowadays?
Well, we do a smaller show.
Oh, I see. It's not as spectacular or as...
Well, it is. We do large shows, but the basic show that we do at the Underground is basically one person can do the show.
Yeah, exactly. But the screen, was that because the screen is not as big, or is it because...
Well, the room, there's not enough room. We only use 4 projectors on that show.
For that wall?
Correct.
So the larger the projecting the surface, the more people you might need to project on different places.
When we do a big show, what we call a full show, which now is about 13 projectors, we usually have a crew of 3 or 4 actually doing the show, plus some backup personnel to help us load, set up, unload, and tear down.
Okay, and what is the difference between this form of art and the regular arts that people create nowadays? I mean, what is the difference? I mean, you said in the article that it's something that just come and go and you cannot take it home. I mean, is there anything...
It can be known or identified as process art, where there's not one stable image like a painter would paint a canvas, and that canvas would remain the same throughout
Can you take slides of what you project and then maybe...
You could. What we do, though, changes so fast and so rapidly that what we're really doing is making an imprint on people's brains. They're perceiving what we do, and it's impressed into their consciousness. And before they have a chance to digest and interpret any one particular image, there's another one. And so on and so forth.
Exactly, so fast moving.
Not always fast, but moving.
Yeah. Although it was moving, I didn't find it tiring. I mean, it's not challenging. I mean, you can watch it forever. I mean, it's not something that requires any intellectual effort on the part of the watcher. It's just, you just relax and watch and you enjoy it.
That's true. People of low IQs have been known to enjoy our light show.
Okay.
Although there are many shows and many images that we project that have messages.
Yeah.
Social or political.
If you want to create that, you can.
Absolutely. We have
like the peace sign or something. I mean, whatever.
Sure. Peace sign is something that we've used, and I still believe in, even 20 years later. I mean. Of
the peace sign or something. Well, you can project a person.
A person. We have a lot of literal slides of people's faces and bodies, and from all different generations, and we interpose them and dissolve from one to another.
Yeah, and does that mean anything to people, or they just enjoy the light?
It can mean something to people. There's a certain percentage of any of our audiences that will interpret our images in a certain way. Sometimes it coincides with the way we mean them to be interpreted, and other times it doesn't, and that's okay. Yeah. There's nothing objective about art.
It's not imposed on the person, or you enjoy
it,
or you don't. And when I saw your light show, I saw that sometimes it was very geometric, and sometimes it was really artistic. It was just colors moving around. And I want to know, is that because of the style of the person doing the light show, or is it
true.
Or is it different?
That's true. Various people at the Underground, which we have tape of, which we're watching, do the show as they interpret the material. There is no set design or way that the material is to be presented to the audience. It's up to the person that's actually doing the show to determine how they want the audience to see their art.
I see.
And
so they might use more of something or less of something.
That's correct. That's why every show is different. That's another neat thing about light shows. You said you didn't get bored. Well, one of the reasons for our success, I believe, is that we don't have one image or one set of images
all the time
stay on the screen for a long time.
Yeah, you offer different things.
I have, and I attempt to teach to my students and people that work with us, we have a knack for knowing just about how long
the same image can go on.
Correct. And it's something that you feel. It's hard to teach. It's something that you feel.
So it's time to go on something much different or something.
Yes, exactly. You can either do a progression from one set of images slowly to another set of images slowly to another, or you can do an immediate switch of something that has abstract color to something that is purely and totally black and white. And the music, of course, is another factor.
But what I enjoyed more is when there was more color. When it was kind of black and white, I felt it was not as artistic as when it was black and white.
Fine.
And well, that was my personal opinion, probably. And
but see, on the other hand, if we were to put all color on, then well, most of us would get tired of it. I know I would. I like the contrast. I mean, that's what life is a series of contrasts of yeses and nos and do's and don'ts, and so
you do everything
in art. Yeah, we do everything in art.
And how long does it take you to train the average artist? I mean, light.
Well, there is no average artist. Some people pick up on the art of light show projection or image projections very rapidly. There's a new lady that just joined our show. Her name is Marta, and she was amazing. I took her down there one night, and she had never even seen the light show before, and I don't know how much art she actually did on her own. And she walked up on the stage of the platform, and I showed her some basic stuff, how to run the projectors, introduced her to the material, and we have a lot of material. And she started doing the show, and it blew me away. She was like a natural.
Okay.
And so she is now part of our crew.
You can actually offer it as a credit class at City College or something. I mean, but it won't take. I
haven't gotten into that formally, although in the 60s and early 70s I used to teach a class in multimedia projections.
Which included light shows.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was part of the. And
the music.
Now I would like you to talk to me about the history of the light shows. I mean, I heard that you in the 60s you had a period where you went on strike to. Is that something that you would do nowadays, or that's not even part of the?
No, there in the 60s, in the height of the light show era, the rock and roll era.
Yes.
In San Francisco, there were about 40 light shows.
Oh.
40 different groups doing lights. And what was happening in about 1968, I believe it was, a lot of us felt, number one, we weren't getting paid enough, and
you wanted more.
We weren't getting recognition.
Are you paid more now compared to the 60s?
With inflation, I would say no.
So even if you fought and everything, that didn't change?
Well, what did change is that we got paid what we wanted to get paid.
And then it stabilized.
Yeah, and then we also got recognition. We got publicity on the posters and the radio advertising for light shows. And we actually went on strike. We formed what's called the Light Artists Guild. And we picketed the family dog at the Great Highway.
Which still exists. The Light Guild doesn't exist anymore.
No, as I was going to contrast, in those days there was 40 light shows.
And today?
Today there's locally probably 2 or 3.
Oh, because you're not pushing it.
Well, the art form simply kind of died out. I stopped doing light shows, in 1970, and then I've just started again in 85.
So now it's a matter of whether you want to train more people or whether you want to call on more places to do it.
Well, we do it at the Underground.
Yeah.
And
so this is almost a unique place then.
It is. There's no other place like it.
We have tonight with us Marta, who is a new artist in the art of projecting lights at the underground. Marta, welcome to the French American Television Program.
Thank you.
It seems interesting. We just interviewed Jerry, who is one of the survivors of the light show, I would say. And could you please tell us how he got you interested in it and how maybe you continue doing it?
He invited me down to the light show to see how it works and asked me if I'd be interested in learning about it. And I was open to a new experience, so I went down there. Yeah. And he just basically ran through the show with me and showed me how to work the slide projectors and the overhead projector. And he also showed me how to work the film projector. And he just started me up, and I practiced a little bit with him. And then later on, he came down with me and showed me how to open the show and how to close the show so I could do a shift on my own.
Use the instruments? You mean use the projectors?
Yes, how to turn them on and turn them off and
yes,
that type of thing.
The technical part of it.
Yes, exactly. So as soon as we had the technical part over with, I was ready to do my own shifts.
So basically, when you do your show, you basically on your own, you create your own things.
Yes, working with the material that's there. Yeah.
Although he gave you a few ideas, but after that, you pretty much he lets you do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's total creative freedom.
Okay, and let's go into the details of creating. When you create light shows, tell us exactly what influence you're creating.
What influence I'm creating?
What you create.
Well, I like to just create images that kind of match with the mood of the music plus that time at the night. When you start earlier in the evening, I notice that you just do sort of lightweight things, and then the atmosphere of the club itself starts to pick up around 2 or 3 a.m. So you can get a bit more intense, get a bit more psychedelic, or however you want to do it.
Yeah. And for example, if the music is very fast, then you move the stuff faster? Is that what it is?
Yes. There's a wheel that moves, and you can make it more or less move in tempo to the music.
Faster or slower?
Yes, that creates the rate of animation that will match the tempo of the music.
Okay, but basically the music there is always fast. It's always
it is dance music, so it's pretty fast, but sometimes
it slows down.
Yeah, sometimes slower imagery matches the music better than faster imagery too.
You cannot pick the music though. Who picks the music?
No, the DJ picks the music, and he's on his own. We just kind of work with what he gives us.
But you don't tell him, here, I want you to play that record.
No.
Okay.
No.
And basically now there's also other things that might influence maybe the content of what they said in the music, right?
Yeah. There's a few songs about Egyptians with the word Egyptians in the lyrics, and we have a slide of an Egyptian, so I like to incorporate that for that song.
Music. Yes.
And if some songs are very sexually explicit, I might put up a slide of a nude body or something like that.
Yeah, and you have such things. I mean,
it's pretty hard to offend them down there.
Oh, you can put anything you want.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to do it.
Yes.
I see. And people basically don't pay attention. They're dancing. They don't pay too much attention.
I didn't think that they did, but last time I did a shift, someone came up to me as I was leaving and complimented me on my work.
Oh,
so they were paying attention.
Oh, really? So it does influence their dancing, maybe?
No, that's just the music.
Okay, but it does maybe influence their moods a little bit, the colors?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that bright colors make them happier? I heard that yellow and orange are colors that put you in a good mood, for example.
That's possible.
Yes.
That's possible.
I mean, if you use always grays and blacks and stuff, it might be a little bit more moody than if you use something bright.
Yeah, it's true. It's a different effect. Yes.
And now we'd like to talk about the things that you use in a light show, especially the liquids that you use. Can you please tell me a little bit how many colors are available to you and how do you mix them and how do you use them?
The liquids are different because they're constantly a moving thing. They're not just a still image like a slide or a mat.
Right.
They're not a film either. They're not an abstract film. What they are is projecting drops of water-based or oil-based ink that's in a concentration of alcohol in such a way that you have an image of different colors like in globs of water, and you can move it. It's kind of difficult to explain. You have it between two surfaces of glass.
And then there's a machine that moves it?
No, you simply move it with your hands. You move the two pieces of glass
and it moves the oils. Is it,
yes.
Is it oil?
Yes.
Oil on water, right?
Yes, we use alcohol with a water-based ink, and we also use an oil-based ink too.
I see.
And when you mix two ink colors together, you use alcohol ink and oil-based ink together. And it's sort of like, you know, when you're driving and you see little puddles of oil on the side of the road, and it has that iridescent effect. Yeah.
Okay, and then you move it.
You move it in tempo to the music between two surfaces of glass, and
is that pretty easy to learn?
Yes,
it's fast. I mean, it's nothing really complicated. I mean, you can learn it
not at all.
Quickly.
No, it's just a matter of choosing what you want to show on the screen.
Okay, and you pick the colors. And how many colors are available to you? The basics?
The basics plus a few more. Well, actually, a lot more. There's everything. You
like
know.
20 colors, about.
I would say more about 10.
10 colors.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
So you have the red, the blue, the black, and
yes, and the purple and pink and orange and green and all that.
So that makes 10. Okay. Could you tell us if you think that it's something that somebody can do for a long time, or is it you think that it's something that you might get bored with it, or is it something that you really like? What is your experience with it?
Well, I'm fairly new.
Yes.
Do you mean a long period of time?
I mean, doing this, does it become something the same, or is it always different?
Well, it's a very objective experience. I think one shift can vary from the next. It depends on your mood.
Right.
If you're enjoying yourself and you're creating something and you're getting into the music and everything, it
you
can
forget
go
time
fast.
going.
Yes, exactly. Like a shift is supposedly supposed to last 3 hours, and the last time I was there, my shift lasted 4 hours.
And you didn't feel it.
Yeah, I didn't feel it at all.
So you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun.
It's like a hobby for you.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And when can people come see what you do? I mean,
on Friday nights and Saturday nights, starting at 10, going all the way till 7 a.m.
And I guess you do one of the shifts, right? You do the one at 1 o'clock. And can you tell us where it's happening?
It's at the Underground, which is on 9th and Howard.
Okay. It's also called LIPPS, Lips, right?
Yes, it's also called Lips.
Right, because I saw that was the name of it. Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing this with us and being with us tonight. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, this was Martha Hutz, who is now a new artist in the art of creating lights and light shows at the Underground in San Francisco. Thank you. Okay, Jerry, welcome back. What I would like to talk about now is what the material part of it. I mean, what actual things are used to create a light show?
Okay, the light show we do now consists of a movie projector, which we show 16 millimeter movie film. And most of that film was made in the 60s or the early 70s. We've hardly made any new film because we have so much library of the older film that it suffices for now.
Okay, so you can even split it into two places. There's so much, right?
Right. We could do 2 mini shows, what we call mini shows, like we do at the Underground. We can do 2 at once in different parts of the city.
Okay.
Because we have enough projectors to do that, and we have enough material.
Great. I saw that you have a huge collection of slides also.
Yes, we have, I would say, over 1,000 slides at this present time.
Were taken by who? I mean,
well, the slides aren't necessarily photographs. The slides, there are some photographs. They were taken anywhere from 1965 to the present. And they're also hand-painted, hand-stained glass slides of abstract art.
I see. So somebody took shots of that. And
no. We actually created the glass slides and then project the originals. That's correct.
Oh my God, I see.
And you can also do literal slides. We use an element substance called black acrylic, and then we paint that over the glass, and then we scratch or draw into that.
I see.
So it shows a white image with a black background.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, we have many of those. We also utilize a process, a photographic process called codolith, where we take high contrast black or white images and put them on film, and then make slides out of them. So we have this really fantastic array of material in the slide department. And we use the slides in 2 slide projectors, and we can dissolve from one slide projector to another, or we can alternate with use of a what we call a strobe wheel, and we can create animation right there on the screen, where one slide's on, another slide's off, and another slide is on.
And it looks like it's moving.
And it looks like it's moving.
Because it's almost the same person or the same
well, it's either a similar image that has slightly
image,
different,
that's what I'm saying.
or it can be totally opposite images and go back and forth one to the other. And we invented that, actually. That technique we invented in light shows in the 60s. We do the show basically in time with the music and the mood of the environment.
So it goes faster or slower?
So yes, if the music is nice and slow, ballads or blues or something on the downward scale,
so the tempo goes...
we do nice and slow. As the tempo raises up, it becomes fast, disco beat, whatever, or rock and roll, which I'd like to
Is it mostly
see
hard
more
rock?
of.
Yeah, hard rock.
Well, we like to do live bands. That's the ultimate when we do a light show, is performing with a live band, because the light show becomes an extra instrument. It becomes another instrument, a visual instrument in the band, so that when people are experiencing the music, they're also experiencing a visual that is going concurrently, coincidentally, right along with the music. It's not out of place or out of time or out of step. And with the liquid projections, for example, is the one area that the light show artist can control the tempo of the show exactly to the beat of the music.
I see.
And that's really neat.
And I saw that. I thought
And people experience that as a visual instrument. The artist that does the show, that does the shift at the Underground, basically controls that show. They have a choice of doing whatever they want to do, whatever they feel like doing at that time. And some people do it, and the audience really loves it.
What kind of feedback you get from people? I mean, you probably get feedback over the years.
Well, what we do in the old days, in the 60s, our show, Headlights, was known as one of the top light shows in the world.
I see, you were known.
And we were known both nationally and internationally. We've done television. We were on the Ed Sullivan Show with Santana. We were on the Smothers Brothers Show with the Jefferson Airplane.
So you became famous.
Yes, we were known, and now in the 80s we're not as well known because
But you might become.
We might. I don't know what the attitude of the promoters is toward light shows. The emphasis is on the music and the musicians, not the visual art.
I see.
So locally, at least, we've been doing the Fillmore Auditorium.
It's a question of promoting it or marketing it or whatever.
Yes. We do the Fillmore Auditorium, the Omni in Oakland. We've done some other local clubs. But mostly right now we're at the Underground on the weekends, 9th and Howard.
Okay, Jerry, I wish you the best of success in this new era of the 80s, and I hope you make it again nationally and internationally.
It's a pleasure knowing you, and I'm so glad you're interested in our art to expose it to the French-American audience.
Thank you very much for being here.
Okay.